So welcome back everybody to the interviews of the European Livestock Voice. Today we have a special guest. Today we have a founding member of the European Livestock Voice, Roxane Feller, the Secretary General of AnimalhealthEurope. AnimalhealthEurope is a founding member of the European Livestock Voice. Welcome, Roxane.
Thank you. Hello, Andrea.
So the AnimalhealthEurope organization is representing basically the manufacturers of animal medicines, vaccines, and other health products. Am I right? What are you doing, Roxane? Who are you, if you want to introduce yourself?
Well, thank you, Andrea. Yeah, well, you've almost said it all. My name is Roxane Feller, and indeed I'm heading Animal Health Europe for the past 8 years now. And our members produce, manufacture, develop vaccines, medicines, and other products for animal health. We have, in fact, two types of members, which is interesting. We have direct company membership, and we also have national associations, which together allows us to represent both the innovators, the generics, small, medium, large, extra large companies. And it's by working together that we can safely say that we are the voice of the animal health industry in Europe.
Yeah, on top you're covering the majority of these companies, as far as I know.
About 90%, yes.
Well, and okay, so thank you. I ask you straight away one thing, because I don't know if many people have cleared this difference, if there is any real difference, but I guess so. What's the difference between animal health and animal welfare, please?
Whoa, okay. Well, in a way you can say there's a difference, but in the same, you'll see, hopefully with my answer, that one does not go without the other. Let's first define animal welfare, because this is science-based. This is not my defining it. In fact, it's the WOAH, known previously as OIE, who identifies 5 conditions of welfare state in which the animal has to be. And it has to be healthy, it has to feel comfortable, has to be well-nourished, safe, and able to express natural behavior. So you heard the first condition I put there was healthy. So these 5 freedoms put health as, a mix of different things, but clearly animal health is a prerequisite and there's no animal health without animal welfare, and there's no animal welfare without animal health. The two are interlinked, and I think this is what you have to remember.
Okay. Yeah, that's already something. I mean, and these are both concepts very important for animals, of course, but also for farmers, I guess.
The farmer, at the end of the day, is there to produce, to have a well-running farm, meaning a well-running business. So if his interest is, of course, the welfare and the good health of his animals, and the health of the animals is also linked to the safety of the food. Never forget that a sick animal does not enter the food chain. Of course, that's for obvious reasons. So I think looking at the farm-to-fork policy, looking at the traceability, I think no matter what the size of the farm is, animal health is essential for the farmer, for the safety of the animals, for the safety of the food, and for the welfare of the animals. So it's all linked on sound farm management and also continued relevant cooperation between the different stakeholders in Europe.
Which is something I think we don't really consider as consumers. I'm thinking of myself. I mean, you think of the welfare or the health of the animals, and from the urban perspective, you don't really realize that it's also affecting the quality of food and the safety of food. And also for a farmer, I mean, it's if he doesn't treat well his or her animals, the products are not good. So, I mean, it makes sense for quite some reasons, apparently. So, yeah. And you were talking about the food chain as well, but I want to ask you, because animal welfare, you know that better than myself. is a topic really, tickling our guts. I mean, it's really emotional. Let's say it's often based more on emotions than science, I would say, for what I see at least. And I'm asking you, how is the legislation in the European Union about animal health and welfare? Is that really so lax? Because I constantly read or hear by many NGOs and animal rights activists, mostly, of course, but it's taken for granted that animals are not treated well. Is that really like that? I mean, is the European legislation allowing not to treat well animals, or what?
Or what? No, the legislation is there. You have legislation on animal health. There's a recently adopted piece of law in Europe that's called the Animal Health Law commonly, and where everything is based on the prevention. So avoid that animals get sick. So prevention, we say, and they say, is better than cure. So, and this legislation also gives the mandate to those who visit the farms regularly to check whether the legislation is actually in place, whether there is good health and welfare of the animals. So there's not only the law, but there are the checks. So that's the first thing. We also have a set of animal welfare rules since the early 2000s that also have rules on animal welfare, whether it's while they are growing, when they are being slaughtered, when they're being transported. So all this is in place, and we have the highest level of protection in the world. But of course, we need to revise those. There are always better criteria to define scientifically, like you said, and not emotionally, animal health and welfare. And there's a general agreement that animal welfare has improved over the years. We have one of the highest levels of animal welfare in the world. Then what's important is making sure that it's being implemented. And like any rule, I'm sorry, but I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to come with that. There's always somebody who's going to break the rule. So if you want to look only at those little percentage of those who break the rule, then of course you can make a big story out of it. But generally, let's be honest, we've all been to even if we are urban people, we've been to the countryside. And as a rule, animals in Europe are healthy and well treated. And if not, there are ways to avoid that they are mistreated.
Well, of course, I tell you, as a journalist, is surely more effective speaking about something not working than something working properly. It makes more audience, I can tell you. And there is this figure of speech. It's louder a tree falling than a forest growing. So I know what you're talking about. Now, the fact is that there is also, for what I've seen, also new. The new generations of farmers I've seen are often more sensitive about that too. That was one of the biggest surprises for me getting in touch with this field, that younger farmers are the first ones taking care of these aspects. I mean, they tell me their parents or their grandparents, they were not really caring of animal welfare. They were just animals. And now it's often different. I want to witness that because I had it more than once. So it's something that I was really impressed to discover, just to share my experience too. But just one thing more before concluding this first quick chat with you. We speak about animal medicines and vaccines and so on. We need, of course, to speak with you about antimicrobial resistance. We spoke about that already in another interview with Nancy de Bruijn. I guess you know her much better than myself, the executive director of the Federation of Veterinarians of Europe, FVE. So that's an issue. Antimicrobial resistance or antibiotic resistance is part of it. What is the veterinary medicine sector doing to tackle this problem?
It's going to seem a little bit paradoxal, but we are very conscious of the need to reduce the use of antimicrobials in animals. I know it's paradoxal because on the one hand, we sell the antimicrobials and we are also fighting to reduce the need for those. But it is a responsibility our sector has taken over 10, 12 years ago by creating a platform for responsible use of medicines in agriculture at EU level, of which the FVE that you just mentioned is a part of. And this is a European-wide association that has built guidelines on responsible use. But more concretely, in terms of actions, if I may say, on the ground, a huge group of companies that are members of Animal Health Europe and the world's largest animal health companies and smaller ones too came together to adopt a roadmap to reduce the need for those antibiotics. And it's not just words, it's 25 measurable actions that have been taken by our members to commit by 2025 to center around prevention, detection, and treatment. We do reports, and the last interim report was 2021, and allow me to read a couple of numbers to show progress, because and how this is moving on. So when they met 3 years ago, they said that we would, by 2025, deliver 100 new vaccines, because if you know that you vaccinate, normally you don't get sick. If you don't get sick, you don't need the antibiotics. So we already today, 2021, the report, 50 new vaccines out of the 100 we committed to put on the market. Diagnostic tools, we committed to develop new diagnostic tools, 20. We already have 17 on the market. Then one more stat, and then I promise you I'll stop. 2 more stats, and then I'll stop. 7 out of the 20 new nutritional enhancement products were delivered. Good nutrition means good health, means less diseases. We're 7 out of 20. And last but not least, we committed to train veterinaries throughout the year. And for the past 2 years, we've trained over 37,000 veterinaries in various partnerships around the world. So I think by our actions at EU level as associations to enhance responsible use, and at concrete level by our members to reduce the need for antibiotics with concrete commitments, I think we can say that our industry is delivering and is being responsible in terms of antimicrobial resistance.
Well, it's apparently not only about commitments, as you have just said. I mean, you have listed these points, but also, I mean, the results are already there. Apparently, I was reading, according to the EMA, the sales of antibiotics for animal use massively decreased these last 10 years. Am I right?
Well, we could almost reach the 50% level, but we're just under 50% of reduction of use of antibiotics in Europe. So I think even before it was, well, it has always been a hot topic, but yes, and this is not us saying it, those are official statistics by the European Commission together with the European Medicines Agency. So I can say that we on the animal side are doing what we can and more, and will continue to do it to fight this global challenge of antimicrobial resistance.
Thank you, and I hope that the human medicine can do soon the same, because again, sharing my experience as a patient, I don't see my doctor so keen to take care of how much antibiotics he's prescribing me. I mean, sometimes she takes it a bit too easy from my point of view. But anyway, I don't want to because we were speaking about that also with Nancy, the Brian. There is the 2 sectors, let's say the animal health sector and the human one are not really sometimes communicating. They should work together, because sometimes there is this lack of communication, and maybe it's better to tackle the problems together and not, you know. So as I see that the animal health sector has already achieved all these goals, I hope that can happen everywhere. So
let everybody hear your good words, Andrea.
So thank you again, Roxane, and we'll talk again soon, because the topic is much broader and there are many things we can deepen with you and your expertise, even if you're a lawyer, but you're dealing with this with animal medicines, and it's something we need to keep a focus on. So thank you again for your time, and see you the next time.
Bye, Andrea. Always a pleasure.